Drogi, and this is my search for a material soul. I want to die. Not today or even next week, although I'm lucky enough to be at a place in my life that it wouldn't be so tragic. I've lived a good life, and aside from my desultory ruminations on this podcast, I don't feel I have anything particularly special to contribute to the universe. Having solved the problem of consciousness, I've fulfilled my career goals. I want to die in the sense that I don't want to live forever. It's not even clear to me that I want to live into my 90s the way my mother and some other family members are doing. Don't get me wrong, life is great. The low autumn sun slanting across my desk, laughing at 40-year-old jokes with college friends, challenging students to try to articulate their views on the nature of being. These are moments I savor. And that's the point. Now in my twilight years, having run on the wheel of life from the immortal energy of youth through the weary middle years, I realize there's less time ahead than behind. Priorities shift as I consider how to spend my days and hours. The fact that there is an end to life, even an unknown one, makes choice meaningful. If there weren't an end, there would be no consequences to the choices that you make. You could always just start over. The show Star Trek: The Next Generation exemplified this situation beautifully with the character Q. The Q are immortal beings with control over space and time, even the laws of physics. All the Q call each other Q, so it's convenient that only one Q regularly interacts with the other characters on the show. Q initially shows up as a judge of humanity to determine if our violent history disqualifies us as a moral species. A reasonable question. Over the course of several recurring appearances, the lonely and boring reality of omnipotence and infinity becomes apparent. Q keeps interfering with Picard and the Enterprise because humans are interesting. Our finite lifespan and limited knowledge mean that we don't know how things will turn out and can't always fix a mistake. For the same reason, we may hit upon an unpredictable solution to an apparently intractable problem. Death and finitude give life meaning. The existentialists knew this. In The Ethics of Ambiguity, Simone de Beauvoir described the human condition as the tension between the immanence of our physical nature and the mind's transcendence of this nature in its capacity to think, imagine, and reflect. Alone among beings, humans have the capacity to choose what and whom to value. And in making those choices, keeping in mind that not choosing is a kind of choice, we choose what sort of person we become. In my view, the existentialists underestimated the physical and social forces that shape the choices people make. Still, de Beauvoir was right about the ambiguity of existence between the finitude of our physical bodies and the infinite potential of imagination. In the previous episode, Technology as Religion, I mentioned the seduction of pure mind. If only we could upload our minds into the cloud, we could transcend the physical form and end the ambiguity of existence. Okay, the image is still scary. Spoiler alert, things don't go well for Johnny Depp's character in the movie Transcendence, and the result is the elimination of the internet and all cyber technology. Nonetheless, dystopian fiction hasn't yet been particularly successful at convincing people to curb our technological appetite for immortality. Or at least there are still some prominent boosters of the idea that living forever would be a wonderful thing. The movement or school or group known as transhumanism is dedicated to using technology to extend biological life or eliminating dependence on biology by uploading the mind into a computer. The goal is to live forever. Because life is so great, it would be better never to die. Here are 3 reasons that I think it would be better to die. First, change depends on new ideas. Max Planck famously said that scientific truth is established not by convincing detractors, but by their death. The old guard, committed to theories they have defended their entire careers, gives way to younger scientists familiar with new ideas and able to incorporate them into their work. If the old guard lives forever, they maintain their theories and systems and institutional power in ways that thwart the development of new models. The same sclerotic structure has currently paralyzed our federal government, where old people with old ideas have failed to respond to the pressing problems of wealth inequality, climate change, social media misinformation, and skyrocketing health and housing costs. The second reason to die is to unburden the planet. Immortality is simply unsustainable. Even if we were all uploaded into cyberspace, energy would still be needed to maintain us there. We treat the cloud the way we have treated every planetary resource, as infinite. My university kindly supplies me with infinite cloud storage. YouTube kindly allows me to upload an infinite number of videos. My cell phone plan, for a less kind fee, allows for infinite data streaming. And this doesn't touch the resources going into AI development and cybercurrency. This is an absurd situation that cannot last forever. At some point, we will run out of energy or rare earth minerals or whatever is needed to keep our systems running. People need to die so there is space for new people to be born. The third reason to die goes back to the beginning of this episode. Death is necessary for life to have meaning. People who have had near-death experiences or have been diagnosed with terminal illness often experience a deepened sense of the value of life. Each moment is precious because there is a limited number of them. Think of it as the temporal equivalent of the law of supply and demand. If the supply of time is infinite, then each moment is devalued to the point of insignificance. One way to read the increasing numbers of people reporting depression, anxiety, and loneliness is the loss of meaning in life. The religious, institutional, political, and social structures that scaffolded the human project have failed to live up to their promises of hope, security, justice, and community. We feel bereft in the world and turn to our phones or sports or drugs to distract us from the emptiness. It won't work. The existentialists were right that we create our meaning. They were mistaken, though, in thinking that we could do it as individuals out of pure will. As social animals, we need one another to create meaning. Some of this can be done in online communities, but I'm convinced that IRL vulnerability is essential to sustaining human value. See again the previous episode, Technology as Religion. That means you're going to have to go out there and find people to collaborate with and inspire you. I have an introvert tendency, so I know how difficult new groups are to join or form. If it's an existing group, you have to figure out the unspoken norms and decide if they suit you. If you're trying to start a group, you have to do the work of organizing, contacting, and maintaining momentum. It's always going to be easier to be alone, but it's not sufficient. Even introverts need friends to share their lives. So keep trying.